Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the vlog. I'm gonna do something different today. This is gonna be a full voiceover on of something that I wanted to do to the FZR for such a long time, and having the anticipation to do it, and I went ahead and knocked it out, and it just turned into be a complete dud. So this is just gonna be a little story in a time lapse of what happened, what went on, and I didn't do much talking because I just wanted to knock this out because I didn't know what to do. This is the first time I was trying this mod, and I just wanted to go ahead and power on through it, so there wasn't much talking to do. So I grabbed the FZR, put it in the backyard. I wanted to have wide open space to work on this because knowing myself, I'm not too good at things, so I needed to have stuff all over the place. That's why I'm dressed like a bum because I'm working in the dirt. But I went ahead and rinsed, knocked the stuff out, got this FZR rear shock off, and they came out fairly easily. But here's the FZR factory with the FZ1000 on the left. The shock is about the same size, it's a little bit wider in diameter, and you see the tops, the bulkhead that bolts into the frame is a little more narrow than the original FZR shock. You just use some washers and put that on and you can get that snugged up pretty good. It's a little bit taller than the FZR shock, so it will work with the stance of the bike. So I tried to fit it all in there, but as you can see, it didn't work, and I just ended up taking the whole rear end apart. Getting the shock bolted in, I'm figuring that everything's okay, everything's good to go, it's all bolting up well, everything's snugged and trued. So I was feeling pretty hype about myself. I'm moving everything out of the way, feeling like I did a job well done. Everything's good and complete. We get it off of the jack stand, set it down. The bike didn't fall, so I'm feeling hype about myself, right? So I'm just being cocky, filling up a few fluids, cleaning up some parts that I had dripped some oil on with a quick oil fill. But as I'm going through these things, I'm starting to doubt myself, and I'm putting the bike pack together and I'm thinking, yo, what if this didn't go right? You know, what if something's wrong? Whatever, right? So as I'm putting it back together, I'm just thinking, yo, let's see what's going on. Let's take some pictures so I can show that I actually did it. It's all completed. And as I'm looking in there, I'm like, man, I don't know about this. It looks like it's kind of crowded areas. So I decided to jump on the bike and test it out with a couple of heavy squats just to see what happens. And it felt okay at first, but then I started feeling it bottom out. And I moved the camera to adjust to put it somewhere to see if there was any other places it was bottoming out at. And lo and behold, look what we got here. Shit. So literally the removal of the FZ1 rear shock and replacement of the factory FZR rear shock, that shit literally took me 20 minutes. Doing it the first time, putting the FZ1 on, took me probably about 2.5 hours. That's insane. I honestly had no idea how to do this, but I just knew the FZ1 rear shock would fit with some shimming on the top. So now that I know what to do and know that it only takes like 20 minutes to do this shit, I'm gonna try one more shock option when I get it in, and that should go like a flash. So I did the adjustments here, and it's set on the hard preload. I'm looking for a more rigid feel. This was just a little too soft. Now, some guys were saying swap out the FZR spring onto this, but I really don't believe that that was going to give me the feel that I wanted. So I just went back to the factory shock. No big deal. And I'm not quite sure what this does, but it was all the way out. My biggest thing is that I do a lot of street riding, canyons, and a lot of wheelies and stuff like that. That's gonna put a lot of weight on the rear tire, inadvertently on the rear shock. So this felt exactly like the FZR rear shock, but you could see right here in doing those maneuvers, that comes in contact with the swing arm. So that's just what led me to take that off. I'm looking for a little bit more of a rigid setup, and I did hear that the R6 rear shock does provide the more rigid feel, but it sets it a lot lower. Maybe I could do that and modify dog bones, but then that'll require me to have a custom cut dog bones or find what dog bones fit that would bring the rear end back up. So I'm just gonna leave it as is for now and try to source other solutions. I heard the Hayabusa rear shock is a good deal, but their rear reservoir sets higher, whereas this one's down, the Hayabusa sets up. So that may not work out. And one of the other issues is I have a California legal bike. So if you could see the charcoal canister right there in front of the shock, that's what prevents me from rotating to have that to the front. So that's the problem. So after digging a little bit and doing a little bit of research, people told me that I was able to find modified dog bones that would raise the bike about 30 millimeters, and that's about the stance that I wanted on the bike. And I realized that the FZ1 rear shock was blown, so it was absolutely no compression, which was allowing the bike to go ahead and sink that much. So I'm going to send that off, as well as the rear shock here. I'm going to send both of those off, get rebuilt with Racetech springs, and that should provide the rigid feel that I need, as well as getting the height and stance that I want to make the bike turn in a little bit more. So that's going to be coming up real quick, and I'm going to enjoy that, so stay tuned.
You got to have dedication, hard work, plus patience. To some more of my sacrifice, I'm done waiting. Told you that I wasn't playing. Now you hear what I've been saying. Dedication.